Well, hello, my name is Rod. I'm with Liberty Test Prep, and today I'm going to talk about the 10 most common mistakes people make on the TOEFL. Now, before getting to the content, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click on the notification bell if you want to receive all of our content. Okay, now while you're at it, also leave us a comment because we truly enjoy reading your comments, and also share this with your friends because I'm pretty sure most of them are going to find it quite useful. Okay, so now let's get to business. The number one mistake people make on the TOEFL is they don't read enough articles in English. Okay, sometimes people say when they first come and they start their preparation, they say, "Oh, but I'm reading in English. I'm reading Harry Potter. I'm reading Game of Thrones, something like that." Okay, novels. So I say that's not helping you too much for the TOEFL. Okay, those are cool books, cool stories, but for the TOEFL, you need a certain format because the TOEFL is academic, so you need to find academic articles. Now, what I would recommend is for you to go to this website here, okay? And you're gonna find articles about history and science. So those are what usually will come in the TOEFL. And also there are short articles, kind of something you would find on in a magazine or in a newspaper, okay? So those are the articles you have to get acquainted with. Now, if you don't have a high level of reading these academic articles, you're going to suffer in the exam because just think about it. I mean, every single question, even if it's a speaking question, even if it's a writing question, they are all written down. So, I mean, if you have a low level reading, that's going to affect your whole exam. That's going to affect you in every single section. Now, mistake number two people make on the TOEFL, and this is something a little sad, okay? Grammar. People don't pay enough attention to grammar. If you want to speak properly, if you want to write properly, if you want to learn how to read, you first have to learn your grammatical base. Okay, you have to have a good framework of grammatical rules that you actually have a high command of. Okay, now the bad thing though is that lately there have been some gurus on the internet saying that grammar doesn't matter. Okay. Well, I mean, most of the time that's not true, okay? If you truly want to excel here at academics, right? You are taking the TOEFL because you're not somebody in the streets. You're not somebody going to a ghetto, man. You're somebody going to business school. You're somebody going to school, undergraduate or postgraduate, right? So you have to have a good command of the English language, something that is appropriate, okay? So if you want to learn that, then you need to read books. You need to learn your grammatical basis. Now, these so-called gurus have come with their new techniques. They are trying to sell you things. All right, I'm not going to say the name. They're trying to sell you SHIT. Okay, don't believe them. Now, these so-called gurus, they don't really care about you. Okay, they just see you as a big bag of money. All right, these people that say that grammar doesn't matter, that grammatical rules are not useful to learning English, they are very useful. They are as important as the air you breathe. Okay, as important as the air you breathe. Believe me. So now you have to be aware of something though. For several years, for decades, if not centuries, people have been learning English just studying grammar first. They first have the theoretical base and then they move on to the practice. That's how people have always learned English. It's not something, something we found yesterday. We've been doing this for a long time. So don't believe these people that come with these so-called new methods that are totally unproven. Okay, they just want your money. So don't believe them. Just first, you have to learn your grammar if you truly want to learn English. Mistake number three. Here, number three is a big mistake. That's actually my pet peeve, I think. Okay? Not using the right templates. Okay? It's one of my main pet peeves. So you have to understand something here. The TOEFL is not only about how well you can write or read in English. Okay? It's more about how well you can convey the ideas you have. Okay? Under the time limits also. So in order to do that, you have to practice over and over and have the right structure. Structure is everything. So for the speaking section especially, you have to have the right templates. Okay, so those templates will give you a lot of transition words, a nice introduction, a nice conclusion, and most importantly, they will give you structure. Okay, so whatever you say, whatever idea you try to express is organized, it's clean. So the person who's grading your score actually gets information in the places where the information is expected. Okay, because believe me, as somebody who listens to an audio, one of the worst things that could happen is that you're expecting information to be in a place, and then, for example, the introduction comes at the end, right? Or the context comes at the end. Those things are fatal, okay? Because believe me, as a listener, it's very troublesome. It's kind of annoying when you listen to somebody who really doesn't have a structure when they speak. They give the introduction at the end. They kind of give the context at the end. So don't make those mistakes, okay? Because that's going to get you a low score. Also, if you use the right templates, you're going to sound like you know more English than you do, okay? Because the right template, which you are going to memorize, contains a lot of big words. These big words will make your English more professional sounding, okay? Better sounding, more academic sounding, whatever you want to call it. They will make it look nicer, okay? And you're going to be able to sound like if you were a better speaker than you actually are. So just learn those, memorize those templates. If you haven't found any template, then you should go to our free courses and just get some templates from there for the speaking section. Or you could make those templates on your own, okay? Just use the right transition words, that's important, okay? But you must have a template for those speaking questions. Mistake number 4. Mistake number 4 is about paraphrasing and reporting. This has to do with speaking, right? You have to understand something. For tasks 2, 3, and 4 speaking, they don't really ask you about your opinion. That's very important. They don't care about your opinion, okay? So you need to paraphrase, you need to report the opinion of the person you listen in the audio, right? Or you read about. So this is very important. You have to paraphrase as closely as you can in order to have the original intention of that person, okay? You don't want to add information or subtract information to whatever they said. This is very important because otherwise you wouldn't be really paraphrasing. You wouldn't be reporting. You'd be adding your opinion to their opinions, okay? Now also reporting. Reporting is essential. You have to master, you have to dominate tenses. Now, in 10 different tenses, conditional perfects, past perfects, etc. All right, those tenses should be okay before you even attempt taking the TOEFL. You should be able to say, the person wouldn't have done this if they knew. Something like that, okay? So those tenses should be dominated before you even attempt taking the TOEFL, okay? Because those are essential. Paraphrasing and reporting are essential in order to comply with tasks 2, 3, and 4 of the speaking section, okay? Mistake number 5, not practicing with a stopwatch, okay? Here the TOEFL needs a lot of practice, especially the speaking section. Anybody who's already taken a simulation knows that one of the hardest parts of the TOEFL is to comply with the time limits, right? You have 45 seconds for the first task and then 60 seconds for each of the following tasks, the other 3 tasks. Now, you have to get acquainted with the time. You can't be looking at the clock all the time. So you have to kind of, your preparation, if you had a successful preparation, basically by the end of a preparation, you should already know when a minute has passed by. All right, when 45 seconds have passed by, and when 60 seconds have passed by. Basically, you should get acquainted with those times. Of course, not totally acquainted, you still have to look a little bit at the clock, but you have to have an idea, okay, just by heart. So definitely, if you don't have a good sense of time, it's because you are not practicing correctly. So every single exercise you do for the speaking section should be done respecting the time limit using a stopwatch, okay? There is no other way. Okay, so practice a lot and use a stopwatch. Mistake number 6, this has to do with listening, okay? Not switching to TV and radio shows in English, all right? You have to switch completely. Now, the listening section usually is the most difficult section for people to improve on, okay? Because normally listening, your listening skills take time to improve. So if you want to do that in a period of 2 to 3 months, that's going to be very difficult, okay? So you want to do everything possible in your hands to improve your level, okay? I, for example, use transcriptions with my students, but just do anything that is possible in order for you to improve. And of course, if you are not, if you haven't really switched to just watching TV programs in English, then you are missing on a big opportunity to improve your listening skills, okay? So it's something that takes you no time, something that will not hurt you at all, something that you could do to benefit your own preparation. So just make the switch. Mistake number 7, and this is my other pet peeve. I don't know why people keep on doing this sometimes, especially This has to do with writing, okay? Not making an outline when you write, especially for the independent essay, okay? Now, I don't understand how people write like that. It's possible, yes, certainly, but for most people, if you don't have a high level of writing, your essay is just going to be so unorganized, okay? So messy, very sloppy, very crappy, believe me, okay? So in order to write a good essay, you need a structure. In order to have a structure, you need to know what you're going to say what you're going to write about before you execute it, before you write it. So it's in the outlines that you start writing the arguments. You come up with the arguments, you imagine them, you think about them, then you imagine your examples, you think about your examples, you check that those examples really support your position, and you get creative, right? You create your examples, you place the details. You don't have to write everything, just try to imagine them, basically. And then, so once you have gotten creative with the outline, then you write it. So you should always take the first 4 to 5 minutes for the independent essay. You have 30 minutes in total, right? So take the first 4 or 5 to write an outline. To me, that's essential. Without an outline, most people write something that is very deficient, okay? I'm gonna say that it's just very crappy. Unless, of course, you have a high level of writing. Then you could get away with it, okay? But normally, you want to write an outline that's going to be very helpful for your essays. Mistake number 8, going too short on the TOEFL writing also, right? We keep talking about writing, and this is a mistake a lot of people make, right? Because once they start writing an essay, all of a sudden they become shy, right? It's like the cat got their fingers, so something like that, okay? They just turn shy all of a sudden. I don't know why. Now, you shouldn't really look too much at the suggested word count or word limits for that TOEFL writing section, okay? Because in reality, what you want to aim at is 300 words for the integrated essay, and around 400 words or above for the independent essay. Okay, so you need to write more normally. People need to write more. They're usually short. Now, why are they short? Normally because of 2 things. First, they don't use the right template. If they use the right template when they're writing, that template itself contains a lot of words, big words, transition words. So besides giving you a structure, it will also give you a lot of words. Okay, so you're gonna get more words and be closer to our suggested word limit. And number 2, also because normally their examples are not good. Now you have to think about this. The examples are the core for the essays, especially for the independent essay, okay? So each paragraph should have a very large example, because example is the one that is supporting your position or your argument. So maybe just give more details in your example, be a little bit more realistic, try to get them to feel more real, okay? To give a better sense, to have more color for the reader to understand your point, okay? But normally that's something people do. They have examples that are too short. Mistake number 9, studying for too long. Okay, the TOEFL preparation should take between 2 to 3 months at most. Okay, now what happens? And because I've seen preparations of over a year, people usually mix things up. Okay, they mix. They are preparing for the TOEFL, but they're also preparing for English. I mean, they're learning English. I don't think that's efficient. You know, the TOEFL preparation should be very specific. They should, the tutor should teach you how to deal with the time limit, how to memorize the templates, how to actually polish your English in order to get the better scores, right? But those very specific things. Now, if your English level is too low, then a TOEFL preparation becomes inefficient. That's not efficient. So you should first study English. Once you have a high or a medium level, then move on to the TOEFL. Okay, because what happens is if you study 3 months or more for the TOEFL, the preparation for the TOEFL is a very intense preparation. You need a lot of practice in order for you to memorize the time limits, in order to memorize the template, etc. So people usually, they don't have the energy to put that intensity for so long. Okay, so they either grow tired or their brain just shuts down completely and it doesn't want to learn anymore. It's not open for any more information. Okay, so you should avoid that. Keep your TOEFL preparation short and sweet. And mistake number 10 is starting your TOEFL preparation with an English level that is too low. Okay, again, most tutors will take your case and say, okay, I will teach you for the TOEFL for a couple of years. Okay, that's because they are looking at you as if you were a bag of money. Okay, as if you were a wallet. Okay, now the TOEFL preparation that is too long will be inefficient. Okay, you should first learn general English. Okay, just increase all your aspects of the English language, right? Learn how to write, how to listen, how to speak, whatever you need to. Once you have a high level, a high command of the English language, or at least, let's say, once you are close to the range of 70 in the TOEFL, then you can start your TOEFL preparation. If you don't know how to speak, if you don't know how to read, if you open the New York Times, for example, and you don't understand any of the articles there, then you are not ready for the TOEFL. I mean, because think about it, most people don't want an 80 in the TOEFL. 80, for example, is a score that doesn't help anybody. All right, it's useless. So most people are aiming for a 90 to 95, maybe 100, right? 90 or above. So in order for you to get that score, you should start at least in 70. Okay, that's something more realistic. So if you have a very low level of English, then you should think about it before you start your TOEFL preparation. My recommendation would be you first learn English. It could take you some time. It could take you some years, but only then you start your TOEFL preparation. Okay, so only start your preparation when you're ready. Perfect. So that's been the advice that's been it with me. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Also click on the notification bell and leave us a comment because we want to know how you're doing with this information, this advice we're giving you. Okay, and also share this video with your friends because I'm pretty sure they are going to find it very useful. Okay, so that's been it with me. My name is Rod. This is Liberty. Thank you for watching, and until the next time.